That's a big necklace, bro. What's that mean? Fendi Fox. That's you. Let everybody know. Fendi Fox. That motherfucker's huge. Dang. You knew security was gonna be good at this club. I ain't wearing that motherfucker out. Oh, Tacoma, they say Tacoma's rough. They do. You living on the edge, Fendi? Like, nah, I'm good, bruh. I got some shit on me. I didn't see a metal detector. Please don't heckle me at Fendi Fox. Fendi Fox got that heater on him somewhere. You don't wear a necklace like that with mace. Are you two married, Fendi? Is your lady? Not married? What's that? Where are you from, Fendi? That ain't a Tacoma accent. You're from Brazil? What brought you out here? You're a doctor? With a necklace like that? What the fuck? I'm sorry, I don't want no doctor give me surgery. You holding my shit? Fendi Fox, what kind of doctor are you? What is it? Orthopedic, like foot? Bone doctor. Oh. Must be paying well. You killing them on them insurance claims. Who you with? Blue Cross? Yeah, I love Blue Cross. Blue Cross always pays. Fendi Fox. And where'd you meet your lady at? She one of your patients? Yeah, how you doing? Looks like your tibia is attached to your fibia. Let me check your pelvis real quick. She what? She catfished you. What happened? She told you what? She told you she was from Sao Paulo? Rio de Janeiro? Okay, Kansas? Yeah. Oh. And now you moved out here. You practice and everything. Man, the pussy must be amazing in Tacoma. This motherfucker moved out here, one night stand, stay together. I'm messed up. That pussy must be good out in this area. I see all the fellas just looking at me. I mean, it's cold, bruh. You got to keep warm somehow in the winter. Got the fucking breeze coming off the ocean. Got time to be talking? We the fuck, I gotta warm up. Is that what happened, ma'am? Is that what happened? You said you was from Kansas? Was you watching The Wizard of Oz or some shit? Say you're from Missouri. And, you guys been on an app or something? Been on an app? Okay, what app? Tinder? Was it Tinder? Was it Tinder? Tinder. Okay. Yeah, you didn't clarify shit, but I mean, you know where you live, motherfucker. Like, I just want to clarify. I told him I was going to Kansas City for certain days. He just said you live there. I think you're a liar. Don't worry about Fendi. She ain't going nowhere. She looking at you like, you ain't gonna say shit? Then you start speaking, what is it, Spanish in Brazil? Portuguese. So I asked, motherfucker. I didn't assume I knew. The way she said it, Portuguese. Let's go. I can't fucking stand stupid ass comedians. Act like they know everything. You don't even know Brazil speaks Portuguese. I love watching Brazil in the Olympics. You're a fucking volleyball team, bro? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. I'll be watching that shit. I'll be mad when the USA wins. I'm like, man, turn these motherfucking skinny ass USA girls out. Back to that thick butt. Why are they so thick in Brazil? Them motherfuckers is dead. Because they did a thing like Ebony did a fucked up article about 15 years ago where they told women, and they were talking to black women and they were talking to black men. Obviously it was Ebony magazine, but they said women don't go to men don't let your women go to Jamaica by themselves, and they said women don't let your men go to Brazil by themselves. And I've been to both, and I know why. You ain't got to speak the same language in Brazil. I didn't speak Portuguese. I thought I was speaking Spanish. It was awesome. So, I got sidetracked. I was talking about transgender stuff. And that's how that got to that with Jesus. And then we got over to the doctor spending all your insurance money on diamonds. At least you bold with it. Most doctors want to hide it. No, I don't have a lot of money. Fendi Fox like, this is a good profession. Now the bill's here? Okay. Okay, so I've been up here like 40 minutes. Now it's a good time. Yeah, I know I can. Thanks. They run your check at the table. That's rough. We gonna about to see Fendi if you about that life. Fendi's like, nah, take cash, baby, take cash. Fendi wasn't risking that shit getting declined. Yeah, go ahead and take cash, keep it. What the fuck, Fendi? You were supposed to have the American Express black. You didn't see it. He put the shit away. He goes, oh, no, we're not doing that.
What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. Get some. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on iTunes at search Gary Owen, hashtag Get Some, or search up United We Cast, or you can go to YouTube and go to youtube.com/Gary Owen.com. This week, last Monday, I filmed the show Wildin' Out with Nick Cannon, and it's going to air in December. Spoiler alert, my team won. Thank you. I was so nervous. Let me tell you what I was nervous about. I go on Wildin' Out, and I was so nervous about the freestyle rap at the end because I'm not a rapper. And even as I'm taping the show, it's funny because some of my references, I was like, I just didn't go up and talk because I was like, I don't know if they'll get it. So I'm so nervous about the freestyle rap. I'm so nervous about it. And then Nick immediately comes after me. Now, people don't know me and Nick Cannon's history. Me and Nick Cannon started doing stand-up together in San Diego. I was doing stand-up, and he was in a rap group called The Bomb Squad. And it was Nick Cannon, this other guy. I don't know where the other guy is. But Nick was a rapper. His manager and me got to know each other. Then Nick started hanging out. And I remember Nick was like, hey, man, I must do stand-up. I was like, you should. And then he started doing stand-up. And I remember his first time on stage, he was doing other people's jokes. And I was like, yo, Nick, you know that's not your joke. He goes, oh, yeah, I saw it last night on Comic View. I thought it was funny. I go, no. You got to do your own shit. He didn't know you can't do that. And it was funny, man. We would ride together to LA all the time. I had an S10 pickup, and me and Nick getting that sumbitch, and we drive from San Diego to LA, and we were just both getting our names out there. And he was a young guy because people was calling us Kobe and Piakowski when we walked into our room. So as soon as we walked in, I go, oh, here comes Kobe and Pike. Here comes Kobe and Pike. And I remember like it yesterday. We went to Oakland and we did this thing called the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. It was a huge competition back in the day. Like people were getting discovered at that competition. And Nick was in it. And Nick was a young kid. He's probably 16, 17. And he did well. And there was somebody from Disney in the audience because they had real talent execs at that Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. And it's where I'm talking about mid-90s, late 90s. That's where a lot of talent agents went to find new black comedians, was the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. And I remember somebody from Disney was there, and they came and they asked to talk to Nick. And then Nick he was the warm-up for that show, All That, on Nickelodeon. And then he became a regular on the show, and then he started getting his own stuff. But that's where people first started to, get wind of Nick Cannon. He's a good-looking guy. He was a young kid. He had fun. I remember he had funny stuff, but it was clean. He was clean. That was the thing. Like you're going against some monsters. They're talking about pussy and dick. And then Nick would go up there and it was clean material. And keep in mind, you only had to do 5 to 10 minutes. So, it's not like you're doing an hour. That's a whole other ball game right there. But for Nick to be a young guy and to be clean like that, it had corporate written all over him. And I just remember riding up there with him. Oh, and I wore the worst outfit. Like green bottoms with the matching tops. Because I bought it in Oakland. I bought my outfit. Because I was in the semifinals. I got the first time I was in the semis. I was like, I'm going to blow away with this one. What was I thinking that night? I wish somebody had a picture of that outfit. I wish I had more pictures back then. You really had to have a camera and go to develop it at Ritz our camera store and stuff. But anyways, I got to the freestyle rap part of Wildin' Out and I crushed it. And I was really freestyling. I don't know where it came from, but Nick came after me and I had to come back. And then this girl came after me and I had to come back for her. So I don't want that to count the bag, but I was a captain of the Black Squad and the Black Squad won. And I got the belt with me. I'm going to post it when it airs of me with the belt. But it's crazy. It's a real belt. Like I thought it was like some fake thing to give back. No, whoever wins, they give you the belt. So I packed, here's the thing. I packed the Wildin' Out belt up. I folded real neatly. And it's a legit like boxing belt. The title people, the same dude that do the real belts. Because it's got the fur on it. You could wear it. It's nice. I got it and I pack it so neatly in my bag. I got it flat. It's wrapped up real tight and everything. I get home, I unzip my bag, and my bag's in disarray. And now they folded my belt. They went through my bag. Security. They got the piece of paper that says, we checked your bag. I said, at least fold my shit up right. Because my belt it's in a black little case, almost like a garment bag case. And then they had it wrapped up in the white, the white paper. Like you're buying a new pair of shoes or something like that. So the white stuff that when you open the box, the white stuff was gone. They just ripped it up. And I was like, these son of bitches, they better not scratch my shit. Because that belt is going in my basement. I freestyle rap that victory. I think my freestyle rap won it because I came back hard. Other things, Tyrese's meltdown, I always say, be careful what you put on social media. You don't see me with my shirt off a lot on social media for a reason. Now I have a tank top on. My arms ain't that bad, but I'm not, no. If you want to see me with my shirt off, either go see the movie Held Up, go see Ride Along, go see the movie College. I got my shirt off in a lot of movies. So if you want to see my clothes off, just go see a movie, And with that, and a lot of times, like if me and my wife get in an argument, I'm not going to post it on social media. Sometimes I have had deaths in the family. I talked about my brother's death at length, but when he first passed away, I just posted a couple pictures. I didn't go on videos and stuff because I knew emotionally I wasn't there. So Tyrese puts a lot of his business out there on social media, and then he acts like he doesn't. And then And then he did this whole crying bit about his daughter. And believe me, I feel for him. I do. And I'm a dad, so I'm not an asshole, but it was funny. I mean, I'm a comedian, and it's funny. I was laying in bed, and I told my wife, I said, "Get up." I said, I got an idea for this Tyrese video. And she wouldn't get up. She goes, "No, I'm in bed," and she had her hair wrapped. So I got my daughter to do it with me, where I parodied the Tyrese thing.
I've been away from my baby for 2 months. I just want my baby.
I want to shout out all the real men out there that have their kids with them. I just miss them. I miss my baby. Sweet lady, would you be my sweet love? This is my baby. This is all I got. Hi. It says hi, but it's backwards. I just want my baby. I reached out to all my friends, Vanilla Ice and Michael Rappaport and Joseph Sikora, and none of them call me. But I'm there for you guys. I miss my baby.
Dad, why are you crying?
I miss you.
I live with you.
Oh yeah, I forgot. She does live with me. All right. Nice. Everything's good. Sorry.
And it went viral everywhere. But you got a few, and it's mostly women that are, Tyrese got a huge female fan base. So it's mostly women like, karma's going to come back on you. And, you better be careful. Hopefully this never happens to you. Blah, blah, blah. I go, first of all, my son's 16, my daughter's 15. If anything would happen between me and my wife, there's no custody battle anymore. They only got a couple years left. And they know who their dad is. They know what I'm about. So I'm past that point. And plus, let's just be honest. Tyrese has doesn't have the best rep of being a nice guy to a lot of people. He's got a rep of he thinks he's better than people. And people see you at a weak moment, they're gonna pounce and come after you. And I didn't even come after him. I just made a funny parody video. And at some point, you have to take a look outside yourself and be like, hold on. If so many people made fun of me because of that video, then it was funny, or it's me. I had an issue. I said on my I had a comedy special called True Story that came out in 2012, and I talked about an incident with me and Tyrese. And in case you guys didn't see it, here's what happened. I was on Twitter, and I talked about Tyrese twice on Twitter 7-8 years ago. And one, I said I went to go see the Transformers movie, and I kept waiting for Tyrese to give the Autobots relationship advice to get along with the Decepticons. So, because he's always talking about relationships, and when he's on social media and everything. So I just said, if Tyrese is such an expert at relationships, why is he divorced? That's what I said. So Tyrese sees me at a party, and his girlfriend at the time, I knew her. So she goes, "Gary, what's up? Meet my boyfriend, Tyrese." Like, I know who Tyrese is. So I go, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I had met him before. That's the thing. It'd been a couple years, but I had met him before. And he just didn't want to shake my hand. I go, "What's up, man?" He goes, "Hey, man, I'm real." I said, "Huh?" He goes, "I'm just real." And I was like, I thought you were Tyrese. I thought your name was Tyrese. So he's got this LA Dodgers hat, and it's cocked below his eyes. And he's leaning against the pole like a column. But he's leaning against the column because I'm just real, man. I'm real. And I was looking at him like, "Why are you acting like that towards me?" He goes, "Hey, man, you be talking about me on Twitter." And I said, "No, I don't." Dude whipped out his phone and he had the tweet. I go, "Oh, shit." So, so I literally told him, I said, "Hey, man," I said, "My fault. Squash it. You want to just squash it right now? Well, let's squash it." He's, "I didn't," like almost like a side-eye view, And I think what bothered me the most about it is I think if that would have been Chris Rock or Kevin Hart or Mike Epps, he would have laughed about it, or he would have been like, blah, blah, blah. But since it's me, it's almost like, how dare you talk about me, And what's crazy is, like, I like his music. I'm a fan of his music. And there was at one point we both did Arsenio Hall the same day. Back in 2014, I'll never forget it. It was the day of the ride along premiere. And I did Arsenio that day. And then I did the ride along premiere that night. And TGT was out. That was Tank, Genuine, and Tyrese had the group. And they were at Arsenio the same as me. And for some reason, his dressing room's right across the hall from mine. Boop, boop. So I never saw him really. I saw him like coming in and out. But I wanted to like say something to him, just squash it almost. But I never got a chance to really see him. And because at that point, I felt for him because just a couple months before, Paul Walker had died. And I'm not lying. Within a month, Paul Walker died, and I had a good friend of mine die. His name was Thomas Howard. He used to be a linebacker for the Bengals. And on my special, I Agree With Myself, I dedicate the special to him because he died leaving my show. I had a show in San Francisco at Cobb's Comedy Club. And Thomas had just signed with the Atlanta Falcons, and he got cut. And I seen him out at I just saw him out somewhere. I can't remember where. And I was like, I saw him in San Francisco. I was like, I thought you was in Atlanta. And he was like, dude, they just cut me, man. I go, really? He goes, I'm cool though. He goes, my contract was guaranteed for the year. And he said, so I'm going to get paid the rest of the year. He goes, but he goes, I'm cool. I'm going to give it one more shot next year. And if not, I'm just going to get into coaching. But he came to my show on Sunday night and brought his girlfriend, or his fiance, And I remember I walked into his car. It was 11:30, 12. And I said, all right, I'll see you guys later. And I took off my flight left at 6 a.m. out of San Francisco. And then I landed back in Cincinnati. And when I landed, I had like 45 text messages. No, I'm not lying. I had so many voicemails that wouldn't take anymore. And I was like, what's going on? And, you just kind of get on your phone, you look at Twitter, and I scroll, and I'm seeing all these RIP Thomas Howards. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, what is going on? And then people were like, was Gary Owen in the car? What happened was Thomas went and dropped his fiance off at her place. And he was driving home from her place. So he tried to get around a semi, and he tried, how if you get behind a slow car semi, you'll try to go around it. And he clipped it. He clipped the semi, and his car flipped and landed on another car. And he was speeding, but he killed the person in the other car. Also, he didn't kill it, the car killed. So 2 people died. So all they said was in the press, 2 people passed away in a car accident. One of the people was Thomas Howard. His last tweet was, just saw my man Gary Owen's comedy show. So I was the last person he talked about on Twitter. So people thought I was with him when he died. And since I'm in the air flying, I don't know that all this is going on. So he died about an hour and a half, 2 hours after I saw him. So he dropped his girl off and he left. So by the time it hit the news and everybody found out, it was the morning, I was gone. And so I wasn't on Twitter. I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't on any social media. So people were like, Gary's not saying nothing. What's going on? So I had to, this is crazy how it all went down. So I find out Thomas passes away. And that was one of the few times I lost it at the airport. Like I had my head down, and I wasn't crying like one of those cries, but I'm tearing up. So I'm taping my special that Saturday in Atlanta. I'm taping my comedy special. Thomas's funeral was Friday. So what I had to do was I had to go to Atlanta early, do all my press for my special, and then I flew out Friday morning, first thing, from Atlanta to San Francisco because it was a direct flight. I landed in San Francisco, called a cab. I was changing in the back of the cab and into a suit because I was flying in sweats. I changed into a suit, and I got to his funeral just in time. Just in time, it was about to start. And it was funny because they didn't put me on the, I don't know if it's a program or obituary as one of the speakers because I told his mom I'm going to do my best to get there, but I don't know if I'm going to get there in time, but I'm trying. So it was funny because he had like a couple of his ex-coaches that spoke from the Raiders. He spent a majority of his career with the Oakland Raiders. He was only in Cincy for a couple years. But a couple of his Raider coach spoke, ex-teammate spoke, and then they said, okay, if anybody else wants to speak, please come up now, but you only get 2 minutes to speak. So his mom said, let Gary go up. Now, if everyone wanted to speak, they had a microphone on the floor that people would come up and talk, because there was quite a few fans there, Thomas and Raider fans. But his mom said, no, Gary goes on the stage. So I went on the stage, and I get up there, and everything hadn't processed yet. Like, I was flying. I got off the plane. I got to the funeral. My wife's there. My daughter's there. I'm like, okay. I just took a breath. And then it's the first time, oh God, I gotta talk about that day. So I remember walking on the stage, and I just started crying immediately. Like, I just couldn't get any words out. And I had said, I looked back at the pastor and I said, hey, this don't count against my 2 minutes. I ain't started talking yet. And it kind of broke the place up. It broke the sadness up. And I remember, I don't remember everything I said, but what I remember, the one thing that I said about Thomas was, I said, you never know when it's your last day on earth. None of us do. I was like, so think about Thomas's last day. I said, he spent it with his fiance. He went to a comedy show. He was laughing. He was having a good time. I walked into his car. I said, we hugged. We said, I'll see you later. I said, and then he took his girl home. I said, that's a great last day. That's a great last day. So Paul Walker dies. And I remember thinking, God, when Tyrese was, and he had the video cameras in front of him when he went to Paul Walker's, the crash site where the car crashed. At some point, I think somebody should just pull Tyrese aside and be like, look, man, you ain't got to have cameras every time you go through stuff, because then people don't know whether it's real or if it's for show. Because I made a joke, and it's not a funny joke, and it might be too soon, but I told somebody, I said it's so much right now with Tyrese on the internet and what he's going through. I said, it wouldn't shock me if next year he's going to networks pitching his life, pitching his show as a sitcom. And then a year and a half now, we got Taye Diggs as Tyrese in Black Rose or something. And it seems to me, and not even just Tyrese, but it seems to me that it's always the people who be like, I don't put all my business out there. They're the ones that put all the business out there. I got people I follow on Facebook that I grew up with, and I follow them for the only reason it's entertainment to me, because they put everything about their whole life on Facebook. I mean, everything, the good, the bad, everything. Let me tell you, I'm not even trying to put this out there, but for some reason, me and my wife went through something, and we're gonna break up. You'll never hear anything from me. Why? Ever. It's just like, whatever. I don't care what's out there. You don't hear nothing from me. I got relatives that were in jail. I didn't tell people my brother was a heroin addict. I never said that. Then when he passed, I still didn't say anything about him being a heroin addict until I spoke with some people, and they said, yo, you got to tell his story. It's going to help people. You got to tell it. And you got a platform where you can tell it. And one thing that I remember when my brother passed, I know a guy whose son is dealing with opioid addiction. And I saw him less than a week after my brother passed. And as soon as I saw him, I lost it. And I sat down, I talked with him, and he said, he's the one that said, he goes, Gary, man, you got a platform, man. People listen to you. He said, so you got to speak on it. You got to tell his story. And I was like, all right. And that was it. So I went down to Jacksonville. I had a show there Friday night, and I had a show in Ocala, Florida, Saturday. And I stayed for the Bengals game on Sunday in Jacksonville. And I got to thank Marcel Darius, who just got traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I got to sit in his suite because it was baking outside. It was hot. And it was funny because Marcel, his whole suite was a bunch of his people from Buffalo. And I asked them, I said, what do you prefer? The hot or the cold when it comes to games? Do you prefer Miami, it can get up to 100 degrees. Like Miami, that's just open. Tampa, it's just open. I go, well, what do you prefer, cold or hot? And we all agreed, and granted, it was mostly white people in the suite. We agreed cold, because once you're hot, you're hot. There's no cooling off. When it's 100 and you're baking, you're just sweating and you're miserable. When it's cold, you can bundle up. you could stay somewhat warm in the cold. And we both said it. We said, if you're going to tell me 100 degrees in the sun or 0 degrees with snow, I'll take 0 degrees in snow every time to watch a good game. Good game. So I want to thank Marcel Darius for letting me crash the suite. I even put a post on my Snapchat because for the first quarter and a half, I was the only one there. I guess they got there late. The whole suite was just by myself. And the lady kept coming in because how suites work at NFL stadiums is you got the suite, but then you don't have to. But if you buy food, you can't just buy a hot dog. You got to buy hot dog, and it's usually for 10 people. They're all their orders are for 10 people, and it's completely overpriced. So my suite attendant kept coming in and asked me what I wanted. And I was like, I can't just order a hot dog. He goes, no. Can I get a half order? He's like, no. I wasn't about to spend $130 on hot dogs, buns. And it was funny because even a pizza was $50. I go, this is ridiculous. All suites are like that, though. All suites, you think you're getting a suite, but then you got to order the food, and it's completely overpriced. Every year, I go to a Cincinnati Reds game, and I do this for friends and family, and I get a suite for one game. And we always have a ball, but it's just the food. I'm like, really? Really? Because you pay, and I think the Red suites, it's $1,000 and some dollars because, baseball isn't that bad. You can rent a suite out and it seats 16. So if you really look at it, if you break it down, if more guys would think that way, dude, let's get 10 of us together, each put in $100 and some dollars. Let's just get a suite and make it a party. Especially night games. To me, baseball night games are way better than day games. It's just something about watching anything under the lights is better. Football, baseball, anything. But one of the worst offensive performances I've ever seen. It looked like the Bengals from 92, 93. I didn't realize they only had the ball for 19 and a half minutes the whole game. And then they had 140 some yards of total offense, and 60 of it was on one play, a pass to Tyler Croft. The most exciting part of that game was A.J. Green beating up Jalen Ramsey.
Chokehold on Jalen Ramsey. Watch. So Ramsey will push him down. Ramsey pushed down A.J. Green. Green throws him in a chokehold, rips him back down, and is throwing punches. No one has any chill at this moment, and they're after it.
I haven't seen anybody go off like A.J. Green did since Andre Johnson did a few years back when he whooped that DB from Tennessee's butt.
Both out because of this action right here. Finnegan gets the first shot, then gets his helmet knocked off. He takes off Johnson, and now Johnson is going to get a couple of good shots in there, or bad shots, if you will. And they're both gone, as well they should be. Well, you just don't see that in the NFL very often. That uppercut right there landed.
Johnson has been ejected. Finnegan has been tossed from the game as well.
But I know AJ, and a lot of people know AJ. He's so quiet and laid back. He's one of those football players, he doesn't need all the extras. He doesn't need the fame. He doesn't need, he's not a big club goer. So, he's married. He's got a young kid. He's got a beautiful wife. I think he's one of those players, he just wants to play football, of course, make some money, and leave him alone. That's it. That's all he wants to do. If he didn't have to do press, he wouldn't do it. Another guy like that was TJ Houshmandzadeh. TJ Houshmandzadeh, who's a lot more vocal than AJ, just wanted to play football, make his money, and leave me alone. I don't need other extras. That's all he wants to do. So for AJ to go off like that and it was funny because I was sitting there watching it, and I'm in the stadium, and since we weren't doing anything, I just kept watching AJ for 2 series. And I was like, let me just see what he's doing. And it was funny because I saw the play, it was over. Then I saw Jalen Ramsey kind of nudge him. And it was almost like an elbow that hit him. You know how you get a paper cut? Or you know what I hate? Titty twisters. I don't know why in high school people would come up and twist your nipple. Motherfucker, man. I'd rather get shot than a titty twister. But it looked like he hit him in a place where AJ was his it was right in his ribs. So I could see it was one of them spots that was ugh. And it was probably a combination of frustrated. He wasn't getting the ball. Nobody was doing anything on offense. And Jalen Ramsey has a rep of talking a lot. So he probably got underneath AJ's skin, and he must have said something at some point. And then AJ just went off. Thank God neither of them are suspended. I don't think Jalen deserves to be suspended at all. And I'm biased. I'm glad AJ's not suspended. So now we actually have a small shot at beating the Tennessee Titans. There's a play where Andy Dalton got sacked on the play. Calais Campbell hit him, and then somebody else hit him. And literally, Obuehi, our left tackle, just let the dude run right into Andy and then didn't even help him up. It was no effort. And it just, I'm never one to just put it all on the head coach, but it seems like this team is checked out mentally. And I like Marvin Lewis, but I'm not going to be upset if they go a different direction. And it's like, bring in some fresh blood. And my show Friday night, I left 23 tickets for the Jaguars, and they all came. So I'm rooting for them the rest of the year because they show me love. So I got to show them love. I didn't root for them Sunday, and they knew that. But I'm rooting for them to win the AFC South. I was talking to Calais about the Bengals offensive line, and I was like, hey, man, you be watching them on tape, man. What you think? And Calais doesn't talk smack about people. He's one of them NFL players. We're all in a fraternity, and we got to, he even said after the AJ Green fight, I went out to dinner with Calais and some of his friends, and I asked him, I was like, what happened with that, man? He goes, oh, no, man, I'm just going to, I'm going to talk to Jalen. He goes, he's got a rep of getting under people's skin, and he goes, I'm all for it. Talk smack, get in people's head. He goes, but there has to be a line because we are a fraternity. He said, the offensive line ain't that good. He goes, but Andy Dalton does a lot of good things in the pocket to avoid getting sacked and getting more interceptions. And, that's coming from one of the best defensive players who could be the defensive player of the year this year. He gave Andy Dalton props. He goes, he does a lot of little footwork and little things within the pocket that avoids a lot of that basically hides a lot of the deficiencies that the Bengals have. So this is coming from a defensive player who watches film every week. He gave Andy Dalton his props. He said, he just said the offensive line sucks. If we do nothing else this offseason, if Marvin, any of the coaches, just get some offensive linemen, please. That's enough on my Bengals. This week, they're going to Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go to the game. I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina on Saturday with Tony Roberts, Earthquake, Jess Hilarious, Tyler Chronicles. There's like 6 openers for me. There's 6, not for me. There's 6 other people on the show before I hit the stage. But it's at the Greensboro Coliseum. I'm just going to stay in Charlotte and drive up and drive back. To me, that's easier because I was looking at flights into Greensboro and I was like, why am I worried about this? It's like 90 miles from Charlotte. I'd rather get a direct flight into Charlotte and just drive up, just stay in Charlotte and drive back. So when I found that out, I go, I got to go back to Atlanta on Monday to finish shooting Meet the Blacks 2, The House Next Door. I got Sunday off, so I was like, I can either come home real quick and then I got to take off Monday morning, or I'll just fly to Nashville, direct flight from Charlotte, Sunday, go to this Bengals game, hang out there. Won't have to get up early on Monday because Nashville is nothing but a 45-minute flight to Atlanta. And so I'm just gonna get my Super Bowl picks now. From what I've seen, it's gonna be a Pennsylvania Super Bowl. Really think that. I think it's gonna be Philly and Steelers. Only thing about the Steelers is, just like the Steelers had the Bengals number, the Patriots always had the Steelers number. And that's who I'd be worried about if I'm the Steelers, because I think pretty much they got the AFC North locked up. I know we're halfway through the year, but that's what it looks like. But Philly, they're annihilating people. They got everything. So I think it's going to be Philly. Right now, halfway through the season, week 9, we're a little over halfway. I say Philly, and it's fucking Steelers. That's who I say. You're not going to hear me say Pittsburgh with a lot of passion. It'll never happen. And I tell you what, 2011 was the best as far as football goes. It was the best season for me. It's my favorite season as a Bengals fan for a couple reasons. One, the Bengals weren't supposed to do anything that year. That was Andy Dalton's rookie year, AJ Green's rookie year, and we made the playoffs, and nobody expected us to be any good. And 2, Kirk Morrison, who is an announcer now, used to play for the Raiders. He was a linebacker with Thomas. Those two were the Raider middle linebackers 10 years ago. And he's the one that said, hey, my buddy Thomas just got traded to Cincinnati, and I had a comedy show because he wants to come to your show. And Thomas came and he brought Ray Maluga and one other guy. And me and Thomas clicked immediately. Like as soon as I saw him, it wasn't awkward. We're just talking backstage about life, not even football. And he had a young daughter the same age as my daughter. So it got to the point that 2011 season where his daughter and my daughter were going to games together. She was going, I wasn't going. I was asking her for tickets. My daughter, like, hey, you talked to Thomas? And she was like staying a night at his house. His daughter was over our house. It was such a fun season because I got to spend it with my daughter and Thomas's family. It was like I was like an extended family of the Howards. So it was just such a good season, that 2011 season. And then the next year, 2012, was the year the Bengals draft. They didn't even draft Burfict. Burfict didn't get drafted. Vontez got signed as a free agent because nobody drafted him, and he was supposed to be Thomas's backup that year. And what happened was Thomas, in the middle of practice, and I was either after the first game or right before the first game, tore his ACL. Just playing it wrong and tore his ACL. So then Thomas was out for the year and Vontez stepped in and the rest is history with Vontez. But, Thomas had to rehab and then he tried to come back the 2013 season and the Bengals let him go and he got signed by the Falcons for a few games. One of their linebackers got hurt and they brought him in and then the guy came back and that's when they let Thomas go. And so it's just crazy how the chain of events happen in life and in your career. Because if Thomas doesn't get hurt, I think Vontez is so good. Eventually, he would have came in, but you don't know what could happen. They Bengals might not know what they had and got rid of Vontez or whatever. I don't know where Thomas's career would have went if he would have tore his ACL. It's just funny how those things happen. Almost like if Mo Lewis from the Jets doesn't knock out Drew Bledsoe, do we know where Tom Brady's at right now? You never know. If the Cowboys don't suck one year, they don't pick up Ezekiel. Like when Andrew Luck they thought he might come out early and he didn't. So then Cam Newton becomes the number one pick. So, that's my my little rant on that. So anyways, that's all I got. Basketball, the Cavs aren't doing well. Here's the thing too about the Celtics, man. Kyrie, I see why he left now. I didn't see it before, but just in this early part of the season, and the Celtics are on fire. Hottest team in the NBA. I think they won like 8-9 in a row. They're right now, the season of the day, they'd be the number one seed in the East. I see it. I see Kyrie. I watched a little bit of that Atlanta game against the Celtics, and I see it. I'm like, oh, this is what he wanted. He is the complete leader of that team. He has complete control, and now I'm not upset with him. And I don't think LeBron's going to be upset in hindsight. I think in 10 years, he'll get it. And you might get it now. LeBron's smart. You might get it now. But I completely get it now. I didn't before, but I think Kyrie's like, I'm at a point where I know I'm peaking physically. Mentally, I'm ready. And he's leading that team, man. He's leading that team. And he's got the right coach that's letting him be him. Like I think Brad Stevens, top 5 NBA coaches right now. Easy. Obviously, I think Popovich is the best by far. I think Steve Kerr, but Brad Stevens, dude's a great coach. He's a great coach. So every week I'm going to do my crazy stepdad story. And this one is, it's not a crazy one. It's a minor one, but I don't want to give all the big ones right away. We got to space these out. This crazy stepdad story happened when I was 12 years old, 11 or 12. And I had these cousins that I lived in a trailer in the country, basically. I had these cousins that lived in the suburbs of Cincinnati, but I always thought they had everything. I always thought they had the best clothes. They had the best styles. They knew music before I did. Like, they were the cousins that first told me about LL Cool J, I'm in Love. When I'm alone in my room, sometimes they go, Gary, this new rap, it's slow. I said, what? It's like, yeah, this guy LL's got a slow rap. I said, shut up. I never heard of slow rap. And they played it. Within 2 hours, I had this all memorized. We just kept playing it back on a cassette tape. And me and my cousin was sitting there listening to it. My cousin's name is Joey, Jerry, and Billy. And it was funny because when Jerry was in 9th grade, I was in 10th grade. Joey was in 11th. Billy was in 12th. So between the four of us, we had high school covered. if we all went to the same high school at one point. But anyways, they got this hairdo, and I can't explain it, man. It just they combed it straight back. I don't know if they should have been the Cobra Kai of the Karate Kid that time. I don't know. It wasn't a mullet, but it was kind of a cool haircut. It was almost Vanilla Ice like a little bit. It was Vanilla Ice like a little bit. But I got my hair cut like that, and I finally got it. I found the right barber that could do it, and this lady cut my hair, and I'm like, oh, snap, this is perfect. But I needed a specific brush to keep my hair in place with this haircut. And the brush cost like $8, and I got it. Like, I saved my money and got the brush. So I just get my hair cut. I buy this brush, and I go home, and my stepdad, I got to do something with him, and I got my cousin in the car with me. So my cousin's in the middle, I'm by the window, and my stepdad's in the front. And we got this old pickup truck my dad was driving. No air conditioning. It's summertime in Cincinnati. So every time we go, I'm like leaning in to the middle of the car because I don't want the wind hitting my hair because our windows are down. We ain't got no air conditioning. I'm like, the wind hits my hair, it's going to mess my hair up. So every time we would stop, I had this brush, and I would comb my hair back. Every time we stop at a red light, I comb my hair back. So then we stop at another red light, I comb my hair back. My stepdad goes, hey, man, why you keep combing your fucking hair, man? I just didn't have an answer. I said, well, it's just getting messed up and stuff. He goes, call me a girl. You acting like a girl, blah, blah, blah. He goes, man, stop. Don't be combing your hair no more. So again, we take off. I lean in. My hair starts to move because the wind's hit it. And I comb my hair again. He reaches over, grabs my brush, and just wings it out the window. And I'm like, I just bought it for $8. And to me, $8 was like 80 back then. So I just remember looking in the back of the truck, and my brush is just bouncing on the road. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. And I rode the rest of the time damn near on my cousin's lap because I didn't want my hair to mess up. And in my mind, I'm like, motherfucker, why don't we have air conditioning in the car? That's my problem. If we had air conditioning, we wouldn't have these issues. But the fact that he just winked. Now I got kids, and I'm just thinking, if my son got a cool haircut that he thought was cool and kept combing his hair, would that really bother you as a father? Would it really bother you? I got this cool ass haircut, and I just want to keep it in place. I was like, why does that bother you so much? And just winged it. I was like, there's no way that just happened. But that's a minor story, but that tells you how he would go 0 to 100. That's my crazy stepdad story this week. So look, this weekend I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Greensboro Coliseum. And then I don't want to forget, December 2nd, I'm coming home to Cincinnati, the Taft Theater. So it better be packed. What am I going to do if it's not? Really? Nothing I can do. I know when people say that too. My city better come out. I'm like this. What if they don't? Like, it's a threat. My city better come out when I come to Cincinnati December 2nd. Or what? I know one thing, they best come out. I hope we pack the Taft Theater out. I'm going to give a good show. So, yeah, I can't wait. I've had this date circled so long. I tell you, December 2nd, out of all the shows I've done this year, and this show's been booked for almost a year, it's the one I'm looking forward to. And it's the one that, I've been doing a comedy club in Cincinnati so long, I'm making that step. Like, nobody's on the show with me. It's me. And I'll have openers. But as far as promotion-wise and ticket sales, it's on me. So I'm just, it's a big step because Cincinnati isn't a huge urban market, but it's big enough that I hope we pack it out. I really do. I got faith. I got faith they're going to come out and support. I do. So December 2nd, Cincinnati Taft Theater. Again, it's another great episode of the podcast, and I'll see you guys next week. Gary Owen, get some. What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. Get some. We got our own. This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can log on at iTunes, look up Gary Owen #GetSome, or search United We Cast, or go to YouTube. Go to my YouTube page, YouTube.com/Gary Owen Com, and that's how you can listen to the greatest podcast in the history of podcast. It's been listen, I've been off for a week, a little over a week since I recorded, because I usually record these podcast on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was filming Meet the Blacks 2, and we went long, so I didn't have time to film. And then I was traveling the next day to New York. Now, I had some interesting things happen to me this past week. One, I want to thank everybody in Greensboro, North Carolina. They came out last week to see me at the Greensboro Coliseum. And then this past Friday, I was in New Jersey and Newark at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. They call it the NJ Pack. That's one of the most beautiful theaters in the country. And we went in there, we sold it out. And it's just a good feeling, man. I remember just grinding. So now you get these theaters, Coliseum dates, and they're packed. You just feel good, especially when you're the guy that's selling tickets. It's a good feeling. I'm not even gonna lie. It's a great feeling. Hopefully, I'll have that feeling when I come to Cincinnati December 2nd at the Taft Theater, because that's a big one for me, because I got that day circled, and as the rap song says, I put on for my city hard. So if December 2nd doesn't sell out, I'm switching teams. I'm no longer, I might move out of Cincy. I might leave the city. If I don't sell out of my own city, I'm just going to roll. What's up, Gary? You room for it now? Buccaneers. I'm going to eat a W. I'm going to eat a W. So, I'm going to tell a story what happened to me at the Atlanta airport, though. So I'm flying somewhere I was flying for Meet the Blacks. I was flying I finished shooting the movie Meet the Blacks 2. So I flew into Atlanta, and I landed, and I went to if anybody knows the Atlanta airport, there's A, B, C, D, E gates, but then there's a T gate. And the T gate is the first terminal. The T terminal is the first terminal when you go through security. I don't know why they call it T, though. It should be the A. But it's the T terminal. So I'm at the T terminal, and I go to the restroom. And as I'm walking to the restroom, I see this dude, and he's got sweats on and slippers. You know, like they were had Gucci on him or something. I don't know. But anyways, he hits the wall with his shoulder. And I said, did he not see that? And then I went in the restroom, and I get done. I glanced over. He's got his arm up against the wall at the urinal. Like, he can barely make it. I'm like, damn, that dude's messed up. Now, I don't know if he's coming or going to a flight. I didn't think he was going, because security wouldn't have let him through security acting like he was. So he got done pissing. I wasn't done using the restroom yet. So I get done. I wash my hands. I don't see him. And I walked out of the restroom, and I'm just at the walking through security. So I'm about to leave the airport. And, once you get past security, you can't come back in. So I glanced back right as I was going into security, leaving the airport, and the guy was still standing by the bathroom. I didn't notice him when I walked by. And just as I'm looking at him, like, is he all right? Because he looked like he couldn't even walk. He starts to walk, and he's kind of staggering, and his backpack opens up, and everything started falling out, like his wallet, cash, just a bunch of stuff fell out of his backpack. And one of the guys, there was two guys cleaning the bathroom at the T gates, and one of the guys said, my man, and picked up all his stuff, gave him his stuff, put it back in the backpack, looked at his ticket. So he was clearly at a layover, I guess. And I don't know what the interaction was exactly, but he ended up walking him to his gate. Now, hopefully the guy didn't fly, because he was in no condition to fly. And I was about to say something. I've never said anything to airport security before, but I was about to say, hey, could somebody take care of this guy? And right when I was going to do that, the custodian took care of him. The guy, I don't want to call him custodian. I don't know what the job title is, but one of the guys cleaning the bathroom at the T gates at the Atlanta airport helped him out. And on my Instagram page, I even I did a video hoping somebody would know.
I meant to tell this story earlier. This past Monday, November 13th, I was at the Atlanta airport, the T gates. I just came out of the bathroom, and this dude was drunk. Like, he was pissing, he was up against the wall, and he walked out, and his backpack opened up, and he's kind of staggering, and his money fell out, his wallet, a bunch of stuff fell out. And everybody just walked by him, ignored him. He was clearly drunk, staggering. And the guy that was cleaning the toilets came out, the janitor there, and helped him, grabbed his money, grabbed his wallet, and said, brother, man, what's up? Walked him to his gate and made sure he was all right. Everybody else walked by him and ignored him. But the guy cleaning our piss and our shit, probably making the least amount of money in that airport, stopped and helped this dude. So I just want to say thank you when I saw it. So the brother cleaning the men's bathroom on the T gates, Atlanta airport, at 1:15 p.m. this past Monday, I saw you. Thank you.
And then I had some people DM me and send me Facebook messages and said, I know my super I know the supervisor at the Atlanta airport. We're going to check the tape and the work log. So hopefully they found who the guy was that helped the guy. And he, I don't know, got a bonus, got something a little extra. Because he really went out of his way when everybody else was walking by him. And it wasn't like, when I say people was walking by him, it wasn't like people was walking by him and ignoring him on purpose. It was just you're at the airport. You're trying to get to your gates. I don't notice people a lot of times. So I don't want to make it look like there was a bunch of rude people at the Atlanta airport. You wouldn't notice them if he was just standing there. It was just when all his stuff started to fall out, then everybody noticed. But then the guy just kind of took control. So I don't know who that guy was, but I saw it. And I just want to tell him thanks. And if I ever go, and I fly through Atlanta all the time, but hopefully if I run into him again, I'm like, I'll throw him a couple dollars. $2. So couple dollars. But we finished shooting Meet the Blacks 2, and that's going to come out October 31st, 2018. While I was in New York also, I filmed Wendy Williams, and it's like my third, fourth time doing Wendy. I always have a good time there. She's never come at me sideways, because I know a lot of people have issues with her, but I never have. She's always been cool with me. But it's funny, when I posted I'm going to be on Wendy Williams, or I posted an interview, I see all these people just coming at me. You going on Wendy Williams and she's evil and blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, listen, guys, her job is to talk about, entertainment gossip. And she gives her opinion. You don't have to like her. She's not trying to be politically correct, so to speak. She's not trying to appease everybody. She's giving her opinion. And what I told her, because she was talking about the Cardi B, Jocelyn Love and hip hop beef and rap. And she was like, I don't think Cardi B should respond because she's bigger than Jocelyn. And what do you think? And I said, yeah, she should respond. And she goes, no, this is pointless. Da, da, da. And I said, well, we're talking about it. So whatever Jocelyn did, she might not be as big as Cardi B. We're sitting here talking about it. And then Wendy goes, oh, well, let's stop. And I was like, see? So I like hip-hop beefs. I like Love and Hip Hop. That's the only reason I watch them, is for the arguments and the beefs. As long as nobody's getting hurt physically, that's why we watch it. And if you can't tell, a lot of that stuff is, I don't think all of it stays, but a lot of it is they're led a certain direction, so to speak. They're led a certain way. That's what they are. So I've been home last couple of days, and I read the paper, and this guy in Kentucky, he got convicted of I don't know what you want to call it. Here's what he did. He messed around with his girlfriend's daughter, and he said he thought it was his girlfriend. He didn't know. That was his defense. And I'm like, I've heard of some doozies. That's a good one. Never heard of that one. He said he thought it was his girlfriend. I don't want to laugh at it because the circumstances, but I'm just thinking he must have got with his lawyer. It was like, what can we do? We got caught red-handed. Oh, I know. I thought it was her. They look so much alike. And it doesn't help it happen in Kentucky. Of all states. All right, man. No, I thought it was her, man. Nope. All right, then. Guess I go to jail. So, but this has been open season on entertainers since I've been back on the air. I gotta give a big shout out to Terry Crews. He came out against a dude that said he tried to touch him in a way, and I'm just like, whoa. And then Terry Crews posted today on Twitter. He said Radar Online sent him a threat saying they're going to post this article that Terry ordered 2 prostitutes back in 2015 somewhere in some city. And he goes, and Terry reposted it and said, I knew they were going to try to come after me when because he didn't go after a low. He went against a high exec, like a high level dude that reps big dudes. So, obviously I just think it's funny how Terry he's like, I'm ready for it. Bring it. Bring your lies. I'm ready to go. I respect Terry so much. I mean, I love that dude. He's just a good brother. I don't know anybody that's ever worked with him that had anything bad to say about him. And he ain't making it up. Why would he? He got nothing to gain, and it's embarrassing for a man. It's not even just a man, a big dude, like a big, strong ex-NFL player. And then another agent at CAA, He got fired. A girl came and said they met at a Coffee Bean, and he was promising her like parts in TV shows and parts in movies. And it's CAA, which is a big agency. If you don't know the agency, it's a big agency in Hollywood. And he was offering her like roles and parts, and CAA is going to rep you. And then none of it was happening, and he was sleeping with her the whole time. And then finally the girl told the agency, and they looked into it, and they found out, he was doing that. So he got fired. And then we all know about Harvey Weinstein, so we ain't got to get into that. That's old news. But Louis C.K. was the shocker. Louis C.K. was the shocking one. Louis C.K. was just jacking off in front of girls and other comedians. And I'm just like, I don't get it. Louis, out of everything that I've heard, Louis C.K. is the least, I don't know, how can I word it? It's the least of the bad, because he didn't force anybody to do anything. He didn't touch anybody. He didn't promise anybody anything. What he said was he used his power. He abused his power. But listen, one, he's jacking off in front of all these different girls, but he's in his hotel room. He's asking, I'm not saying he's right, but he's asking, he's in a hotel room. And I just tell girls, I'll tell my daughters, anybody, don't go to a guy's hotel room. Don't. Because any guy, if he's asking you to go to his room, he wants to fuck. Or in Louis C.K. incident, he wants to jack off. And have you watch. Just don't go to, even a lot of the cases with the Harvey Weinstein stuff. Now, I'm not saying Harvey's right. I'm not saying what he did was right at all. But I'm saying, if you have a meeting with Harvey Weinstein in a hotel lobby or a hotel restaurant, stay there. Do not go up to his room. Don't. It's easy. Just don't do it. Don't go to his room, because I'm telling you what guys want. I don't care what time of day it is, anything. That's what they want. If a guy says, hey, you want to go to the room, watch a movie? We don't want to watch a movie. I'm letting you know. I don't care how good that movie is. We don't want to watch a movie. We're not trying to show you a funny video on our phone or our laptop. We don't want to show you the view. We don't want to show you how nice our room is. No. Dude's asking to his room. What's fuck? That's it. That is it. Don't go to the room. Or he wants to jack off. Louis C.K. That's the one it's mind-boggling to me, because I don't like seeing myself jack off. I will jack off in my hotel and catch a glimpse and went, oh, God. Oh, God, I look ridiculous. Oh, my God. I don't like seeing a view of myself, let alone somebody else gonna see me. Hell no. I don't get that at all. And this has been years. And the thing about just entertainment business, and I love it because I'm in it. I'm not going to be like, it's a dirty business and I hate it. No, I love it. I love the whole game of it and everything. I mean, I love it because the beauty of the entertainment business is you can get that call tomorrow. You can get a call tomorrow and you don't know what it's about. You know, this thing, I went to New York last week. I did Wendy Williams. I did the NFL Network, Good Morning Football. And I did this show on Viceland called Jesus and Mero. Oh, now that's a good interview. If you go to my YouTube page or just go to YouTube and look them up, those guys, they're the future. They'll have a big deal in less than 5 years at a major network for some kind of talk show. I don't know if it's going to be late night, midday. I don't know, but they're good. The vibe's good. They ask all the good questions. It's just, I had a good time on that show, man. I really did. I posted an interview on my YouTube page. So the same people that are looking for this podcast, you can find that interview on my YouTube page. But what I was getting at was, so I'm going to New York to do the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. And I ended up getting, 3 TV appearances, all because I was just going to be in town. And all of them came within a week of each other. So I didn't know I was going to have all that stuff when I got there. But that's the beauty of the entertainment business. And you never know who's watching stuff. You never know who's watching your interviews and be like, hey, okay, I like that dude. Or that guy, okay, he seems cool. So people would be like, I don't like the entertainment business. I'm like, just like the same people would be like, I miss my privacy. That's the one thing I miss. I was like, no, you don't. You don't miss it. You get into that. We are an ego-driven business, entertainment business. Now, I will say I love getting recognized and I love people telling me they love my work. But I will say it gets weird in the approach sometimes. Sometimes people are so obnoxious in the approach. That's what I don't like. You just stand there. Hey, Gary, I'm trying to blow up your spot. You just did, brother. You just did. You were so loud. I tell you, one of the smoothest people ever came up to me, and I don't know if I've told this story before or not, but I was in Columbus, Ohio. I'm at the mall. I'm at a shoe store. And this 14-year-old kid came up and just went, "Hey, what's up, Gary?" Real subtle. And I go, "What's up, man?" We just start talking shoes for like 20 minutes. And then at the very end, he goes, "Hey, man, mom, I get a picture?" It was so just like subtle and smooth. I go, see, that's how you go up to people. And I get awkward too. Like if I see somebody and I don't know if they know me, but I like their work, I want to go up and say hi, and I don't do it all the time. And then I'll meet them later on, and they'll be like, "Why didn't you come up to me and say hi?" I was like, "I didn't know how you was going to react. So I didn't know." That's why I didn't say nothing. As I'm recording this, I'm watching the Cowboys-Eagles game as we speak. So whether the Eagles win or lose this game, I'm going to get my Super Bowl picks early this week, and I might shock some people because I'm still going with the Eagles in the NFC, and regardless of what happens in this Dallas game. In the AFC, and I know people are going to think there's no way he cannot say Pittsburgh after what Pittsburgh did to Tennessee. But after I saw what New England did to Oakland today in Mexico City, the same way the Steelers treat the Cincinnati Bengals like we're their little stepbrother, New England does that to Pittsburgh. New England's got their number. So until I see Pittsburgh beat New England, I'm going to go with New England. So I might be shocking people because I know people think after what Pittsburgh did to Tennessee, I was like, after I saw New England, I was like, I got to go New England until Pittsburgh proves me wrong. And they play in a couple weeks. They got a chance to do that. Now, it's been 2 weeks since I've reported on Bengals game. I went to the Tennessee Titans game. Man, Bengals had AJ Green finally catches the ball. It's a 70-yard bomb. Bengals go up, and I thought we had them. I was like, that's it. And then they just drove right down the field and scored. And I think it was bullshit what the refs were doing to Vontaze, because I really think they were provoking him. And I'm not being a homer on this. I saw the way they was treating him, and then to kick somebody out for basically you made contact with Vontaze. He didn't make contact with you, ref. You told him to hold, and then he just gave like a little arm up, not worth being ejected. He didn't like physically assault the ref or push him or try to be like, get out of my way. He was literally trying to get by like, dude, I got to get back to the huddle. It wasn't worth getting kicked out. If it would have been a flag, I'd be like, all right, yeah. I still don't agree with it, but I wouldn't be talking about it. But you kicked him out for that little thing? Come on now. And then it come to find out the refs were jonesing on him and cussing at him. I don't get it. They got it out for him for some reason. And then he comes back this week, and the Bengals go to Denver, and this was for Denver and Cincinnati. This was both their seasons on the line because, you come in, you're 3-6, you got a chance to be 4-6. And I was listening to the game, and they said, and since the NFL went to 6 teams going to the playoffs, there's been like over 90 teams that have started the season 3-7. None of them made the playoffs. Usually 1 or 2 when they get these weird statistics make it. None. So essentially they're saying this is it for one of these teams, and the team that wins actually is still playing for something. And Cincinnati won. So now they're 4-6. And if you look at the AFC playoff picture, it's dang near every team is 4-6 or 5-5 fighting for those wild card playoff spots. You got New England and Pittsburgh just run away with the division. Jacksonville's getting a little separation at 7-3. After that, everybody's like 5-5 and 4-6. Somebody's going to make the playoffs at 9-7 or 8-8 this year. That's guaranteed. Somebody. And I'm a homer, and I know that. I'm looking at the Bengals schedule, and they got Cleveland coming up. We should beat them. So that should be 5-6. And then Pittsburgh comes to town on Monday Night Football. But I'm so disappointed in our offensive line. They're really bad. I'm still going to root for them. I'm still pulling for them. But please, in the draft, get offensive linemen. Please, guys. Or some free agents. Because everyone gets on Andy Dalton about the Bengals. And I think Andy's a good quarterback. I don't think he's great. He's definitely not like a Brady Manning type. But he's good. He's serviceable. And you can't say it's Andy Dalton when you don't have a running game. Because if you don't have a running game, then it's the offensive line. And then if he's getting sacked more than everybody else, I mean, it's not all on him. I mean, if you're going to ask me, do we need a new quarterback, draft a quarterback or offensive lineman? I'm saying draft the offensive lineman. Without question, we need a tackle. A mean tackle, too. Somebody with a mean streak, like never knew his dad type tackle. Like raised by a mom on grits. Lived in a trailer or rundown house in the South. I definitely want to be from the South. Walked him and his 5 brothers to school. And they all had Converse All-Stars from 3rd grade to 6th. Just wore them out. That's what I want. So, the Bengals have hope. And when they have hope, I have hope. I'm going to do a crazy stepdad story. This one is kind of funny. Like, when I first started doing stand-up, you're trying to find your voice and everything. And, I always like black girls. I've always liked black girls. And it took me a while on stand-up to start talking about that. Like, I really like black girls. And then, because when I first started stand-up, I went to my hometown, and I'd only been doing stand-up probably 6 months. And I went to my hometown, and I did this show, and like the whole town came out. I grew up in a little town called Oxford, Ohio. So the whole town came out. And then, but I didn't really have my voice. The jokes were really bad. They were kind of, stocky. You've heard of them. It wasn't nothing brilliant coming out of my mouth. And then a year later, I came back to my hometown and did a show again in Oxford. And this time I'm in my groove. I had been on Comic View. I wasn't the host yet, but I had been on Comic View. And I had been doing stand-up so much in that year. I grew so much. So now I come back and I'm doing good on all my shows. And so I go to my hometown and, I get on stage and I was talking about, I like black girls. Now, when I say I like black girls, it's funny when you say that shit on stage because some people take it as I'm bashing white girls or Asian girls, Latina girls. I don't do that. I don't put another girl down to say I like this girl. So I always just be like, I like black girls. I don't ever put white girls down. Like I don't like white girls because of this, or I don't like Asian girls because of this, or I don't like Latino girls because of this. I don't do that. I just always said I just like black girls. So I'm doing my show. I'm talking about I like black girls. So the show went pretty good. It's done. It's over with. So the next morning, I'm at my mom and stepdad's place, and I see my mom. I go, "Hey, Mom, do you like the show?" She goes, "Yeah, it's pretty good." My stepdad comes up, wakes up, and he goes, "Hey, man, we got to talk." He's pissed. I'm like, what the hell is he mad about? Now, keep in mind, I don't live at home anymore, so I can leave. So it's not like I need to deal with his shit anymore. So he goes, "Hey, man, how you going to get on stage and up there talking about you like black girls and stuff? And you know your mom's in the audience and your grandmother's in the audience. They're white. And you going to talk about this stuff and they're sitting in the audience." I'm like, I don't want to fuck them. I'm not talking about them. He was so upset about that. That's the only show he ever came to. That's the only comedy show I ever came to. He was so mad about that. And there was no, I've done numerous hour specials, numerous TV appearances. And even before I fell out with him, he just never came. They never came to support me in anything. Even when I came back to Cincy or anything and I was making it, he never came out. So it's just funny to me that he was so mad about that. Of all the things to get mad about. And then I was, so I'm replaying in my head, and I'm like, I didn't say anything bad about white girls or anything like that. I don't know. Another crazy stepdad story. It's not going to stop. They just keep coming. It's hard for me to talk about my stepdad because there's just so much. And I don't want to go on a tangent on one podcast because I want to spread it out. And I don't want people to just tune into the podcast like, oh, you're going to talk about a stepdad for an hour again. Because I could. I mean, just the stuff that he did. Irrational behavior, man. Dude's out of control. NBA basketball. I didn't see this coming. I did not see the Celtics beating the Warriors at all. The thing about the Celtics, it's crazy because I don't think people are really taking them serious still. I think they're like, yeah, it's cool. But and I think there is some validity to the fact that LeBron's not locked in and a lot of the Warriors aren't locked in yet. Because once you get to the playoffs, that's a whole nother ballgame. And Boston doesn't have a lot of guys that have that kind of experience with that kind of pressure going on. And even Kyrie doesn't. Kyrie's never been in the playoffs where he's the man. Even when he made it, he was number 2. So, I think it's going to be Cleveland and Boston, and I think Cleveland's going to pull it out. But and I think the same in the West. People are talking about Houston. Houston's got just as good a record. They might have a better record than Golden State. But I don't think people are truly thinking they're going to beat Golden State in the playoffs. They really don't. I'll tell you, though, New Orleans is playing well, and they only got 2 people. But they're going to be in the playoffs, and that's a team that a lot of people don't want to play in the playoffs because they got 2 bigs. Man, I'm just thinking, if I'm a point guard, I want to go there. If I'm a point guard and don't want to shoot first, I want to go there. The other big thing that happened in basketball was the middle ball brother, the one that everybody says is the worst of the 3, which is still saying you're a really good ball player. Saying you're the worst in the ball family is a compliment still. But the names, I get the names confused because you got LeVar, Lonzo, LiAngelo. I think it's LiAngelo's the one at UCLA. Yeah, so LiAngelo Ball is in China, and him and 2 other guys on the team go and steal, not out of one store, because originally it was just reported they went in Louis Vuitton and stole some sunglasses. No. They went in like 3 high-end stores and was stealing. You got to realize they don't play that shit. And Japan and China and Iran and Iraq and Dubai, they don't play that shit. No, that is not America. They are like fuck second chances. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he said when he was over in China, a guy got put to death for embezzling money. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't hurt anybody physically. Embezzling money, they murder his ass. They don't play that. So when I saw that, my first thing was somebody better get Yao Ming on the phone. That's who I'm calling in China. Call Yao. We got to get these guys home. They said they were facing like 10 years in prison. Oh, my God. But the UCLA coaches worked with the government, and then Donald Trump spoke with the head of China and got him to pardon him and let him back. And, the guys thanked Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's done a lot of things wrong. Trust me. I'm not doing this to say I support him. What I am getting at is the fact that now that they're back, LeVar Ball doesn't want to give Donald Trump any credit. Listen, man, that's my kid. I don't care what people say about Donald Trump. I don't care what his policies are. I don't care. I don't have to agree with none of it. My kid is facing 10 years in prison in China, and you got him home? Yeah, we're thanking him. And I'm not saying anything bad about him. If he does something I don't like, I'm just not going to say anything bad about him. It's kind of like when I see a stand-up not do well, or I'm watching Saturday Night Live and they don't have a good opening monologue or something. I don't comment on it. I just be like, that sucked to myself. But I ain't going to comment on it. Same thing. If Donald Trump got my kid home, you will never hear me say anything bad about Donald Trump. Never. All that other shit goes to the side when you talk about your family like that. Now, if it was my stepdad, he could have kept his ass in China. Now, if it was my stepdad stole that shit, I would have called Donald Trump. I said, you better not get him home. You better keep his ass in China. You better not make that call, Mr. Trump. That should have been the trade right there. We'll give you Gary stepdad for these 3 ball players. You can do whatever you want to him. Hard labor, poison them. I don't give a shit. I would have been mad that Donald Trump got him home. I would have been mad at Donald Trump. How you feel about Donald Trump getting your stepdad home? Man, fuck Donald Trump. So kept his ass in China. I'd have been so mad. Like, why did you bring him home like that? But it is thing. Any parent, listen to this. Any parent, as much as you hate Donald Trump, as much as he does some dirty shit, I'll be the first to admit, dirty. Your kid's in China, facing 10 years in prison. Donald Trump makes the call to get him home. Nah, you just got to say, hey, man, thank you. And then don't badmouth him anymore. I can't believe LeVar Ball went that route. I'm shocked. I don't give a shit about playing to your fan base or your audience at that point. When you talk about your kids, nah, I don't care. He made that, and then it was funny because then Donald Trump's like, I should have kept his ass in prison. I'm just thinking, what are those 3 kids thinking, man? What are they thinking? I've been to Dubai before. When I went to Dubai, it's crazy over there because it's actually it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I went there right before everybody got wind of it. I went over there like in 2001. And I came back telling everybody about this place called Dubai. And then it was like literally like the next year, people started to come. And what I found out was the sheikh that took over control of Dubai, he wanted to really make it westernized and top of the line stuff. So he was paying like Tiger Woods millions to ensure him showing up at when they would have a golf turn, one of the golf pro-am tournaments there. And then he was like giving, I think, Venus and Serena extra cash too to ensure they would show up at these tennis tournaments in Dubai. And he just wanted to make sure. And all the roads were like, look new. The neighborhoods look new. The hotels were plush. But I went to the mall and I'm walking around and I hear hip hop music. I hear top 40 music. And it's, the stores are the stores. There's a Timberland store, there's a North Face store, just the run of the mill mall stores in the mall. And there's Gucci and Louis Vuitton, all the other stuff too. But I see a lot of the girls covered up, the Muslim girls. And I knew I'm not winking. I'm not waving. I'm not saying hi. I put my head down. I put my head down like I was a Muslim woman. I said, I just wasn't taking no chances. It wasn't worth it. I didn't want to wave, nothing. They walked by me and I just put my head down. And the same thing goes for these UCLA, the 3 basketball players in China. You got to know better, man. You this ain't the Fox Hill Mall in LA. This ain't the Beverly Center. Or, it's not the bookstore at UCLA. I'm thinking they're in the hotel room. They're in China. What? Who? I mean, who says, oh, yeah, let's do that? I don't get it. And you got to know, you go in the high-end stores, it's a lot harder to steal than like Target or Walmart. And plus, the Ball family is supposed to be doing all right. So, yeah, why are you stealing? I don't get that. But I think I stole one thing in my whole life. I stole a brownie when I was like 5 years old. And I walked down and sat in my mom's car. And then she came out and she was like, did you steal that? And I was like, no. And then the little store owner was like, he took the brownie. And I had to bring the brownie back in and apologize. And so I didn't even get to eat it. I don't know why I stole a brownie. And then another time, I was like 7 or 8, I found this guy's wallet. I found a wallet one time. I lived in this apartment complex. And I found a wallet. And now keep in mind, I don't know how much money was in it. It seemed like a lot back then. It could have been $40, but as a 7-year-old, it seemed like $4,000 was in the wallet. Because it was one of those wallets that was real thick. Like he had way too much stuff in it. He had like a Subway card and credit cards and like a Blockbuster card. And then he had cash in it and then like phone numbers and stuff. And like the kind of barely fits in your back pocket. And I found it and I turned it into the front desk area of where the apartment complex was. And they found the guy and the guy gave me $1. And I was like, I should have kept that goddamn wallet. I thought he would give me a 10 or something. Dude gave me and then gave me $1 like, there you go. There you go. See? Do good things. Good things come to you. It's $1, bro. It's $1. It's funny how money works as you get older and you look back on some of the things you've done that could be offensive to people. Like that dude gave me $1. I was a little offended by that. I remember the first time I ordered a drink at a bar and I was old. I was over 21. I didn't know what tipping was. I didn't know what a good tip was, what a bad tip was. So I remember I ordered a beer. I'll never forget this as long as I live. Ordered a beer. Beer was $4.75. I gave the bartender $5. So the bartender puts a quarter on the bar. I literally take my middle finger and I tap the quarter and I go, my man, that's for you. And I slid it across to him. So he took that quarter and flicked it. Like did one of them hard flicks and was like, keep it. Keep it. He flicked that summit. And then they're like, I moved. And I was looking at my friends like, why is he being a dick? And they was like, Gary, you offended him. I said, what do you mean I offended him? He goes, it was $4.75. You gave him a quarter? I go, what? I didn't know what tipping was. I didn't know what a good tip was. I never ordered a beer before. So it's like the fact that I tapped the quarter, my man, that's for you. I don't know what I thought he was going to say. Like, damn, thanks, baller. Damn, you doing it big. I just didn't know. Another thing that's funny, too, talking about, I don't want to get on a drinking episode, but I remember when I was in the military, all my military buddies, we just drank beer when we went out to bars. That's all we drank was beers. So if you say, I'm going to get a round, this shit's like $10. If three of you and you get 3 beers, $3, $4 a piece, it's nothing. I remember the first time I was not in the military and I started hanging out with brothers in the entertainment business, and I'm still drinking beers. And I'll never forget, I was in Dallas, Texas, working on something. I was with a couple actors, and I said, I'll get this round. And I'm used to a round being, like I said, $10, $15. So I order a beer. One brother orders a Hennessy. The other brother orders a double Long Island or something. And that bartender's like, oh, yeah, $35. I was like, what the fuck? I said, hold on. I'm not getting no more rounds because my drinks don't cost as much as yours. I'm the cheap date here, fellas. I was like, oh, okay. I'm not buying rounds no more. That's over with. This shit's expensive. I think I took a deep breath when that waitress came. $35. What? Oh, God. Did I say Hennessy? I'm sorry. I mean, you look like Florence Henderson. Yeah, my fault. Excuse me. Thanksgiving's coming up. I've said this joke on stage before, but it's funny. Like, we rotate houses every year to go to Thanksgiving. And it's funny. My wife always makes Thanksgiving dinner regardless. And I remember I would ask her, like, why you always making Thanksgiving dinner? And she's like, I ain't eating that bland bullshit. We go to my family's house. It is a bit bland. I'm not going to admit. It is a bit bland. Now, the argument in a lot of interracial couples' households is sweet potato or pumpkin. Now, I like pumpkin. I ain't going to lie. I like it better. I do. A good pumpkin pie. And I've had people make pumpkin pies. There's a restaurant throughout the Midwest called Frisch's Big Boy. Frisch's Big Boy has the best pumpkin pies. Not even close. And I hate when people try to pawn them off like they made them, because it comes in a box and then the pumpkin pie's in this little tin pie pan. Stop acting like you made that. Everybody knows what Frisch's pumpkin pie tastes like. Honestly, I'll give you more respect if you walk in with a Frisch's box. I go, okay, you knew where to get some pumpkin pie. I see you. You knew where to get it. Then I'll eat a piece of that pumpkin pie. It's like one time I went over to this dude's house. I'll never forget. I was in Columbia, South Carolina years ago. And this dude, he gave me this whole song and dance about, I'm gonna do these military bases, man. And he told me he could give me like $100K. And when he said that, I went, really? He goes, but it ain't gonna be one show. It's gonna be like 10 shows over the course of like 3 weeks. And I was like, $100K. And at that time in my career, I was like, I never heard of money like that for stand-up. So that he goes, come to my house, I'll give you the spiel, right? So I go to his house in Columbia and I bring my road manager with me. So we're over there. I'm not lying. This dude had some chicken in the oven. He had some fried rice on the table already and like some vegetables. So he takes this chicken out of the oven like he made it. So we sit down to eat dinner. Everybody knows what Kentucky Fried Chicken tastes like. You can't fake that. I took a bite of that chicken and I went, there's no way he's trying to front like he made this chicken. He was trying to front like he made the chicken. Everybody with Kentucky Fried Chicken. The fact that he had the oven on and like, not only the oven, he had an apron on and he took it out with like the heat gloves. You know, the gloves you put on so your hands don't get burnt. He took the chicken. He had the chicken in a pan and everything. I was like, I took one bite and texted my road manager. I go, this motherfucker bullshit. And then, so now I'm like, okay, the fried rice is bought, clearly. I don't know where this dessert came from, but that's bought, clearly. The sides were bought, clearly. But the thing about it, he got the sides from a different restaurant because they weren't Kentucky Fried Chicken sides. But everybody knows what their coleslaw tastes like. I was like, this dude, and sure enough, those dates never happened. In fact, he would call me and be like, hey, man, you got through the first round. Or he would say there's like 4 rounds. They got to send my stuff over and I have to get approval from these military, whatever bases. So he was like, hey, you got through the first round, got through the second round. He goes, all right, man, one more round to go. Got to the third one. And then I never heard from him again. And I'm like, this dude. And the thing about it, since then, I've been overseas numerous times and done numerous military bases with reputable promoters and guys that have these military accounts. And I love doing the military bases. I just like traveling and seeing different cultures is what I really like. The shows are just a byproduct of it. But the dude, I still can't believe he tried to pawn off like he made Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like he had the secret recipe. We always wonder what that secret recipe is. He had it. Yeah, man, I'm friends with the Colonel. We good. Yeah. No, he's like, man, this tastes like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Nah, Kentucky Fried Chicken tastes like this. So anyways, listen, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I'm actually not working this week, which is great. I'm going to be off this weekend. I'm going to go watch some high school football in Ohio. I actually went to a high school football game last week. It's the first Friday I've had off since football season started. And there's this school called Winton Woods in Cincinnati. Man, they got this running back. He's number 28. His name is Mayan Williams. That dude needs a birth certificate check. That is not a 15-year-old boy. That dude was running the ball, and I was like, who is that kid? And his mom looked back like, that's my baby. I said, well, what you been feeding him? She goes, I breastfed him. I said, till he was 18? The dude is a man-child. Look out for this dude in a couple years. Mayan Williams is his name. That dude is a monster. I'm telling you, I haven't had my podcast for years, but I told people years ago to look out for Luke Kennard, who played in Franklin, Ohio, and went to Duke, and now he's with the Detroit Pistons. I told people a couple years ago to look out for this guy, David Montgomery, who is now the starting tailback at Iowa State and is like 90% of their offense. He's sophomore, beast. And I'm telling people, look out for this dude, Mayan Williams. He's only a sophomore. He's at a high school called Winton Woods in Cincinnati, Ohio. Watch out for this dude. That's a man-child. He's a real, like, 15, 16-year-old kid. I was like, good Lord. Monster. So I'm off this week. I'm going to go see him play. In Ohio, they're down to the Final Four. Like, there's different divisions, but it's the Final Four teams in the state left. So I'm going to go. And then December 2nd, I am in Cincinnati at the Taft Theater. Everybody better be out. That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all. I hope everybody has a great, safe Thanksgiving. Work out that morning and then work out the next day. But eat like a pig on that day, that Thursday. I'm going to eat a whole Frisch's pie, pumpkin pie. So, all right, y'all. I had a good time today. I'll see you next week. #GetSome.